everyone, and welcome to a new video interview for Yogonet Gaming News. Today we are joined by Noah Akers of Akers Manufacturing. The casino loyalty and technology developer has launched a Player Budget, a new customer rating system that promises to change the industry. Noah is joining us today to discuss this new feature in detail and why it matters. Noah, as always, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure having you here with us.
Well, thanks a lot. And I say it every time, but we love Yogonet. So really appreciate the hard work. Love getting the newsletter every day and all the videos you do with the different industry stakeholders. So thank you very much. And we're happy to be a part of it.
Thank you for joining us. Well, as I was saying, Akers Foundation Technology is introducing a new metric, the player budget, which helps operators identify each player's specific gambling budget. What I wanted to know is, what can you tell us about this in detail? How was this metric developed and how it works? And what I wanted to know in specific is, in which ways is it different from the theoretical win and actual win metrics, which are so widespread in the industry today?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. The industry predominantly relies upon this theoretical win metric and sometimes is augmented by the actual win metric. But both of these metrics are problematic for operators because they're misleading. They can easily be gamed. For instance, so if you look at theoretical win, it's just associated with coin in, which has nothing to do with the player's budget outside of, in theory. And then in the actual win, players can pull their card out and put their card back in and play different games. But what our player budget feature does is it precisely identifies the exact amount a player is willing to spend in the gambling session. And so the way it works is we monitor the play in real time, and we can see the player's real-time win-loss balance, including if they go to new machines, if they put in new money, new bills, new tickets. We can calculate exactly how much of the player's own money they're willing to expose. And so that just helps casinos identify which players have the most profit potential, who's most important to bring back to the casino. And then with that data, they can customize offers and become more profitable.
Right. And in line with this, which capabilities does Player Budget open for casino operators, especially in terms of allowing more efficient marketing strategies, thanks to the insights they get from Player Budget? And how would you say that the industry stands to benefit from this solution, taking into account that billions are spent per year on player incentives?
Yeah, so casinos today throughout the United States, they're probably spending $20+ billion annually on player incentives. And because all of those incentives are built upon the broken and inaccurate theoretical win model, it just means they're highly inefficient. And so if instead they can begin to base these offers on the exact amount of money a player is willing to spend, then it becomes highly, much more efficient. And so specifically, I think that we're in this like negative feedback loop for casino marketing where player has to come in, generate coin in. Now the casino responds with an offer that's, based upon that coin in without knowing exactly how much money the player has. That doesn't really, it's what casinos do today, but it can be a lot better. What we're doing is we're building a system that recommends for every single player what the casino wants to do to maximize profitability. So we break it up into three categories. So there's meet, which is I want to meet a new player. So if there's a hot uncarded player, we can send somebody out to get that person enrolled immediately. The second category is called maximize. So this player we think that we can get more loyalty and more play out of this player based upon the player's budget size. We can customize marketing efforts on those players and maximize the relationship until their loyalty is consolidated with our operation. And the third category is maintain. Maintain is for players who have already consolidated their loyalty at your operation. You don't need to maximize anymore. You just need to maintain the relationship. And just applying these principles across every player is going to help casinos build a dramatically more efficient marketing campaign.
What I wanted to know is Player Budget a feature that, based on your conversations with clients and the wider industry, Is it something that the casino sector had been waiting for? Are casinos looking ahead to taking advantage of this metric? What can you tell us about the rollout of this new feature?
Yeah, I mean, so something like player budget is something that casino operators have been clamoring and begging for decades. They know that the model today is broken. They know that it causes a great deal of inefficiency, and knowing precisely the amount of money each player has to spend is exactly the solution that's needed. One thing that I think operators can really stand to benefit from is identifying players who have the most future profit potential, meaning here's a player that we've identified. He has a really high budget, but maybe he's only been in here 2 or 3 times. We do not have that player's loyalty, but it's probably likely that this player is going to a competitive location, and maybe more of their loyalty is consolidated there. So if we know that and our competitor doesn't, we can maximize the player's offer, flip his loyalty to our casino, and now we're really beginning to profit. So these are the exact types of tools that the operators have been deprived of for decades, and Acres is more than happy to deliver them, and along with that, a bright new, more profitable future.
Right, and in line with this, there is something that is brought up in Acres' white paper on the launch of Player Budget, which is that it helps uncover a player's true willingness to spend. This is what you were mentioning, right? Discovering what their true spending willingness is, instead of these guesses that casinos do today, right?
Right. So let's say, take for example, a player who's identified to have a $14,000 budget. But he's only been to our casino once. We can stand the most by getting repeat visits from this one player because he brings such a high budget in comparison to the others. The way that things are done today, the casino has no idea that this player has a $14,000 budget. All they know is that he produced whatever Theo he produced, which may not even be close to $14,000. So here's the real takeaway. This guy is a big spender. We can quantify him as a big spender in a way that Theo can't do. So now the casino knows this is a big spender. I can customize my marketing offer to this player and bring him in and hopefully flip his loyalty. And that's really the start and end of it. It's a very simple concept. It's just a new and more accurate metric to build your marketing campaigns off of.
Well, so we've been talking about the marketing potential of this new feature, this new tool. But in addition to that, Player Budget also unlocks new opportunities for casinos when it comes to detecting problem gamblers and helping in a casino's AML efforts. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I mean, problem gambling is obviously a massive concern for casinos, for players, and for society at large. And we have to stay on the right side of the problem gambling concerns. What Player Budget does is on every single trip, we're measuring the player's benchmark for their budget, right? So if a player comes in 50 times and we see that his tolerance is always at one level, but then suddenly he goes all the way up to here, well, maybe that's a flag for a problem gambling concern, and we can go out and kind of do some KYC, figure out what's going on with this player, and maybe solve a problem before it actually becomes a big problem. So that's really how it works for problem gambling. For AML, I mean, we're using the same principles to identify suspicious transactions, and this works whether the player is carded or uncarded. But let's say that somebody sticks in a lot of bills and just prints a Tito ticket, and they're washing money through the system. We know that and this all comes back from Foundation's ability to process the real-time data, but we know if you stick in $1,000 of bills or $10,000 of bills, there's some minimum level of play that is expected with that. If that play doesn't occur, then we're going to send somebody out and figure out what the problem is and help the casino fulfill their AML duties. So it's a lot more accurate for problem gambling and for AML.
I wanted to pick up something that you mentioned, which are the real-time data capabilities of Foundation. I was about to ask you about that. How does this new metric complement Foundation's existing features? what's like the play between all these components of Foundation like with this new solution?
Yeah, so we're building a brand new rewards platform that that personalizes the offerings to every single player. And the idea is that when every gaming session should be customized to what the player perceives as getting the most value and what gives the operator the opportunity to generate the most profit. So if we know that a player has, you know, a $14,000 budget, and we know that a player expects X amount of time on device or X amount of play for their money, we're going to generate a system of bonuses that helps both get what they want. So if the player is losing very quickly too early in the session, and we think that it's going to jeopardize the long-term loyalty, we can begin to issue bonuses in real time during the session to help that player extend the length of their session, thereby deriving more perceived value out of it. But on the same token, if the player gets that value, like they're getting all this time on device, but they haven't started to lose their money yet, we're going to issue challenges to the player to increase your bet size, do things that are going to get the operator more capability or more likelihood of earning your budget. So that's really, you know, we're designing this brand new system that gives real-time customized experiences to players, and we think that that's what casinos are going to need to grow their profits into the future.
Right. Well, now in a different direction, I wanted to ask you something else, which is we're still quite early in the year, so I think it's a good opportunity to ask you what does the company's roadmap for the year look like? What can you tell us in regards to future launches and developments, participations at trade events? Last year, you also mentioned plans for a potential initial public offering. Can you also provide us any updates on that matter?
Yeah, so real quick, so in 2024, we're very excited to begin rolling out more of our solutions at a wider scale. So in a month or so, we're going to be debuting Foundation HQ, which is our first, the first implementation of our CMS. We expect to get more installations of Foundation HQ, especially towards the second half of the year. Beyond HQ, we're going to be debuting new bonuses, including TiVo, the ticket and bonus out that we've talked about so much, that'll be coming out this year. We're doing more cashless installs. We see a lot of operators wanting to go cashless, especially without the cashless wagering account and all the liability that comes with the cashless wagering account. Our cashless features no cashless wagering account. The operator is never in custody of the funds. So we're very excited about continuing to expand the footprint of Foundation in 2024. And, you know, we are working on an IPO. IPO is very important to our company just because, it helps us with regulatory issues. The regulatory burden and all the different states and jurisdictions that we're active in actually is somewhat diminished for a public company. And that's one of the key drivers to why we're seeking to go public. And we're an amazing growth story as well. We're expecting to become, within the next few years, one of the most important suppliers in the industry. And we want to share that vision with our investors and share the rewards as well. So we're very excited to expand our footprint and achieve an IPO.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to catch up with us, and we will make sure to keep an eye out for all these new developments throughout the year.
Cool. Well, thank you. I hope to talk to you again soon. Appreciate it.